Good morning. So this is talking about feet today. I've just completed a few videos on hands, and the feet. The principles are basically similar. What I really like about this page on this book is the way the artist has described the basic shapes. So, like in all drawing, if you want to draw well, search out the basic shapes first and take it from there. Because if you can capture these basic shapes, if you can see the basic shapes of this foot, you don't start there, you start there. You don't start there, you start there. You don't start there, you start there. Then it all, if you simplify those forms like that, you will be able to draw feet a lot better. And feet, they are difficult to draw. Same with hands. But you have to not look at the complexity of this, but you have to start with the simplest forms that you can see. Try to see what are these shapes. So almost look at the geometric shapes that you see. Simplify it so much that you can see this first and almost draw that first and then try to do this on top of that. Because if you get this part right, this part will be a lot easier. In this case, for instance, so if you just look at that, that's a funny looking sort of triangle. If I extended it, it would become a triangle. And that's what this part of the foot is like, with a plane on the side that is in shadow. The toes shown in this way, it looks a little bit like a mouth, a smiling mouth. It becomes a lot easier to draw these toes if you can just get that right. I love what he's done here, just to see that whole shape like this. Then you would add that. Look at the toes, little rectangular boxed in version of toes, and then within that box you would create those toes. So even after drawing feet for many years, I still love the fact that artists can do this. They can help other people to draw complex things by showing them the different simple shapes that you're actually looking at, and by simplifying it makes it possible for almost anybody with a little bit of grit and sitting down and just looking and looking and observing until you can see it, and you try and you try and you try. In this book, I read a little bit what he said about drawing feet, and it says here, the only way to learn to draw hands and feet is to draw them regularly. Begin by sketching hands and feet in your sketch diary. Do them in all kinds of positions. Seek out the basic structure as described above. So try drawing hands and feet from all different sort of vantage points. This is a weird sort of foreshortened version. The more you draw it, the more comfortable you'll get, and the more your eye will start seeing what you should be seeing in order to help you to draw better. So I just want to give credit for using this book. It's a very old book. It's called Drawing the Creative Process. Seema Simmons and Mark S. A. Weiner, I suppose. Bought it at a junk shop or a secondhand shop for next to nothing, and it's been helping so much in my classes. It's a stunning book. It really does break it down to make it more doable for anybody to learn to draw complex things well. So I'm just going to stop this video here, and in the next one I'll actually draw something so that you can follow me. Hi there. So drawing feet part 2. There'll only be 2 parts. So again, I wouldn't start there, I'd start there. I just would do the basic shapes that I see there. By blocking it in like this, you immediately get all the lovely negative spaces to look at. If you don't know what that is, check out my videos on YouTube about negative spaces. But basically, it's just all the shapes around the feet. If we say the feet are the positive forms, then everything, if I block it in, around and in between, becomes negative space. So that's a negative space. This is a negative space. If you don't do the block method where you're blocking in a section like this, this space is just an open space. It makes it quite difficult to actually see what's going on there. The moment I block it in, I can much clearly see. So as though my brain just understands this shape a lot better, just because I've blocked it in. So that is quite an easy thing to draw, and it's only because there's been a line run down that section. So the block method really does help you to draw easier, better, because you can see negative space. I'm just going to draw freely. I'm going to start with that negative space over there. as you draw, always look, this is not just coming down. It has a slight bulge over there. So there's a generic shape that you can draw in first, but then you have to start tweaking it to actually show the little differences. Because there's many little differences in something like this. I immediately start looking at this inside shape, the negative shape, to help me to draw, because the feet are difficult to draw. So the more I can use my right hand side of my brain to draw the negative spaces, the better my drawing will be in the end. I'm searching for form, so you'll see me going back and front over stuff many times until I'm happy that I'm actually capturing the shape that I'm seeing there. So that's just a little bit of a indication for me to say, okay, I think it looks like that. Okay, I'm going to carry on. So I've done that. Okay, so from there, one part to another part to the whole. Once you've got one part right, do another part that's close to it, another part to another part to the whole. That's why I got taught drawing when I was studying my fine arts degree. So one part to another part. So from there, I can easily go there. From there, I can go there. From there, I can go there. But I don't jump from there to here. That doesn't make sense. My eye can't relate the proportions and the shapes so well if I do that. So it's much easier for me to say, okay, I've done that. I think it's sort of right. Let's go from there. Let's go to this part of the angle. Something looks a bit wonky. That goes up there. Still looking a bit strange, this spot. So I go back again and I test what I've done. And I might do that 20 times or more until I'm happy that I'm closer to where I should be. Rightio, so let's see. Again, one part to another part to the whole. Once I've got that, an indication of that, I start doing stuff like that. Because it's the closest to that edge. If that edge is not right, then I can just take it out later on. But for now, I draw one part to another part to the whole. What helps a lot as well is if you can just go upside down every now and then. That's also going to help your eye to see better. I might have made that too long. I'm just going to lightly draw in that line. So immediately if I do that line, and I might do this line as well, I can see little shapes like that much better. That little triangle there, then that shape there. Oh, I see. Still tweaking. Drawing really lightly, because if I go dark right now, I'm just making it more difficult for myself when I make a mistake. So still very lightly drawing. I'm also just going to block in this side. My block is not going to be perfect, but I'm not too worried about that. It's just for me to help me a little bit with the negative spaces. You can do it much better. So you can measure out. I don't feel like measuring out too much right now. So don't follow this example. You measure. Unless you've drawn 30 years like me. Then I suppose you can jippo a little bit. I just want to get an indication of shapes. You see something's off here. Now I can see that shape much better. So it's a funny down. Oh, it's lower. See, it helps to put those lines in, hey? I can start seeing my mistakes. It takes time. Drawing feet, it just takes time and patience. Again, from this line out to that line, it makes it easier to place this line. So I'm looking at that, then I go there. I suppose I'm going to have to put in this block as well. Alrighty, let's do that. So how wide is this thing? How wide is that thing now? That's when you're lazy to measure out, you run into problems really quickly. So that's why I say you measure out well. I can fix my own problems, but it's better to measure it well. And that's just an indication. Okay, sort of looking right. I don't like using a ruler, but in this case with feet, it's too difficult without it. Okay, I'm just gonna flatten that for myself. I see in the video you can't see what I'm drawing, so let me just make a plan so that you can actually see what I'm drawing. Hope you can see it better now. Looks like you can. Joys of making videos. Yeah, I think you should be able to see it. This book is quite large, so it doesn't fit into my tiny little drawing space so well. My drawing book is quite large. Okay, there we go. So I hope you can see now. Are the toes in? Not yet. Yeah, now everything is in. Okay, cool. Okay, so what I was doing was just shaping this as a flatter shape so that I can more easily see it. I'm going to look at that sort of curve there. Looks like a little shoe. And I'm just going to also do that here. Flatten this out a little bit as a basic shape. Oh, it looks like a weird little shoe from a drama, an Edwardian film or something. A weird little shoe from the Victorian times or something. Bear with me. I'll get there. So my cat is wanting to say hello, but I don't think there's enough space for her to walk anywhere. Now here she comes. Hey, Misha. So I'm still tweaking. Still just going back again. Checking my shapes again. I might really, sometimes I'll do that 20 times. Until I'm happy that I've got the basic proportions right. It's no use shading if the basic proportions are wrong, because then it's just a train smash. Then you have to now take it all out again and start again because something's off. Okay, the basic shapes there look alright. There it goes in a little bit more. You see how I'm going back again. This must be about my 7th time, because I'm checking the little outs and the little ins. The slight inward curves, the slight outward curvatures. Alrighty, okay. So that would be sort of the basic shapes. Okay, I can go back up there and see what I want, what I need there. So if these videos are helping you, please leave a comment. If it's on YouTube and you like it, it does really help my channel to grow. It shows other people that there's something happening there. I think I've made about, yeah, I posted about 40 videos on YouTube, and on Patreon I'm close to that already. So Patreon is for my longer videos. YouTube, I only place the short beginning videos, because I need to get paid for videos, because they take so long, and it's all my skills and all my knowledge can't be for free. If other people want to give it away for free, that's their business, but I can't do that. 30 years of knowledge, it must cost something. But I'm happy to do some of them for free, and I'll post them on YouTube, at my YouTube channel, Mariana Booyens Art. And on Patreon, I release the longer, more substantial videos, as well as those first shorter videos, so that it's a sort of a nice package collection that somebody can have a look at on Patreon. Thanks for my Patreon members. I'm still growing. It's a few numbers yet. I've only been on it for a few months, and it's a lot of hard work, I must tell you, to keep posting and doing. But I'm so thankful for the people who have become members there. Thanks for that. And it's a great way for my online people to be able to see the videos that I make specifically for them. This is specifically for my UK student. Hi, UK student. I hope this video helps you. So you can see how much that little shape there has helped me to place the toes. Otherwise, this would be really difficult. But because I've got that little basic shape in there, I can go one toe to another toe to another toe, and I can go back in. They're not right yet, but I'm just one toe to another toe, placing them. And that line there is helping me to know, okay, that's the way they meet at the top. Okay. Hoeveel tone is daar? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Not 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Okay. Get that right. Important. Okay, so that's the basic for the little toes for now. With toenails or nails for hands, be careful that you don't overwork them. So what I mean by that is, if I made this whole thing quite dark, that's all I'm going to see when I look at the sketch, is a very dark looking toenail. But if you look at what the artist has done there, this is from, that book is from the Leonardo collection. That page is from the Leonardo collection. Also an excellent resource for drawing, just to give credit to them. So I'm trying not to outline that line. Otherwise, what's going to happen is I will just see some very dark circles, or any close to a circle shapes draw a lot of attention. So you have to be careful that you don't overdraw them in the sense of making them too dark. There's just a little bit of an indication is enough. And always make sure that these nails line up with the bone structure, hey? The nail sits in the middle of that bone, the nail in the middle of the bone, nail in the middle of the bone. So if I tilt this nail too much to that side or that side, the whole structure of the foot comes undone. You have to understand the anatomy. You have to understand what's going on there. See these bones? So when my UK student will draw this, she's going to draw this one first, and do those bones, and then draw skin on that side, so that you can have both the experience of drawing bones, or she can do the, yeah, I think it's better this side. So drawing the bone structure so that you understand it, and then that foot you can just draw the basic shapes with skin on, the shading, so that she doesn't have to do both It's only necessary to do this once because you need to understand that. So the one side would be this and that side would be that. So the bone structure helps a lot. If you understand it better, you know the foot so much better. I think that's okay. This video is already 20 minutes long. Wow. There's a little negative space in there. Right there. Okay, and then there's some knuckles in here. So if I just do that, and I do softly do little circular shapes, all the knuckles will get light and a little bit of shadow around them. See, that helps me already. That there's a little bit of a something popping forward already. Okay, so what else is let's start that. You see those toes, you can. Okay, so on that side where there's a knuckle, there's a little bit of an outward shape. So one part to another part to another part to the whole. I do this, sort of happy with it, sort of. Now I do that as my basic sort of line there. Now I do this one, and I check the distances between these different toes so that I just don't do a generic sort of, oh, they're all the same width. All these widths differ, and you have to be conscious of it when you draw. Alrighty. 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is going to be 5. Then what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. A little bit of an upward tilt there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, that is the part of the, it's a little part of the foot at the, I thought he drew an extra toe, but there's a little bit of a side of the foot coming out there. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fifth one is there, and you only see a little part of it coming down, and that little part there is actually part of the foot on that side. All right, once I've done those basic shapes, I can start placing nails. Again, just being careful of the direction of the nails. Because remember, the wrong direction will tilt it. It'll tilt the whole toe in a different direction. Okay, that's good enough for the basics. Okay, so now it's only shading. This part seems a bit fat. Let's see, what is my fault? Is it this that needs to come inward more? Or is this bulging too much? Once you start adding the shadows, it also helps you to see what's wrong. Because shadows are like puzzle pieces working together. The light and the shadow works together like a puzzle piece. And if it fits well, if you can fit them well, then it shapes the foot. So I look at them as shapes, and I'll even put them in lightly. This is coming up a bit more and then up there a bit more. I think that's my fault there. Let's see. Yep, that's better. So I'm still tweaking shapes, ne? Interesting how long that takes. And I've drawn for 24 minutes. It's so subtle. 2 mil this way or that way, and something goes wrong. Something bulges out too much. Something looks odd. Love that little piece there with that little overhang of the little toe. It's these subtle things that tells me that's a good artist. The fact that I picked that up, and the way that you see that beautiful little thing there, how that just goes in more. This is a little plooitjie. That's an Afrikaans word for crease or a wrinkle. Okay, something like that. Okay, so I'm where I can start shading. I can take away some of my grid lines. And now it's the puzzle pieces are fitting together. Light and shadow. Line following form, principle. So you wouldn't do flat lines there, you would describe the shape. Line will always follow the form. Work with the form, never against the form. I'm doing this kind of quickly because otherwise this video is going to start being very, very long. This is not a shading video. It's how do you draw feet, and the drawing is done. Now it's the finishing off bit. Look how beautifully, it's not an outline that he's done. In certain places you see a darker edge, that's usually next to a dark shadow. And in other places you see the line is very light and very thin. Also the sign of a good artist, that he did that and not outline the whole thing. That immediately tells me that somebody's still learning. There's accent here and there. There's a little bit of an accent over a darker line. His line work is quite sensitive, but it's never an outline. Outlines make everything seem very harsh and unnatural and a bit amateurish, if there's such a word. So everything bulging gets a little bit of light. You see those 2 bones there, they're bulging out, so they get light, and then underneath them there's a shadow that'll help push them out visually. Still working with a 2B pencil. Done this whole drawing up to this stage with a 2B. You could have used a B as well. So once I see, but I can't go dark enough with this pencil, then only do I switch to a darker pencil. Never start with a 4B, 5B, 6B. You are making your life difficult. Start with a light pencil. Much easier to correct your mistakes. And just do the basic shapes of the shadows first. With a light grey everywhere almost. Like I'm doing now. Then I would go in and say, okay, but I see it's dark in this area. I have to use a 4B now. Or I have to start using my 6B will be right at the end. 6, 7, and 8B if needed. It's not always needed. So every shadow pushes in. The darker the shadow, if I just want that to go in more, I have to just darken that. You see how that pops in visually. It's quite amazing how you can bring out something, push back something, shapes, with just a slightly darker shadow. Something will push back more visually. With more highlight, it'll come forward more. Always think about how the feet relate to the legs as well. Don't just think you're drawing feet. They are connected to legs, hey? So otherwise, yeah, you have to think about this is the feet of part of a bigger, it's part of a figure, so it's part of a bigger shape of the figure. They don't stand on their own, they stand with everything else. They're looking kind of nice. Little shadows under the knuckles to push them out a bit, but I keep it light. If we go too dark, I'll have to go back again and fix them. So very lightly, just around the knuckle, doing light shadows so that the knuckle itself can push forward a bit more. Wow, how brilliantly this little piece here is drawn. Little ins and outs and flesh. Dimples in flesh that the artist has shown. Love it. Well drawn. Okay, I'm still at a 2B, hey? I still haven't switched to a 4B. But I think for the purposes of what I wanted to show to my UK student, I think this is enough for her to carry on with what she needs to do for class. Now I can start sharpening lines here and there, bring some shapes out if I wanted to, take away whatever's unnecessary, not working well. Always being careful not to outline. Only do a darker line where a darker line is needed, and even a line like this will go darker, thinner, lighter, lighter, darker, thinner, lighter, lighter. It'll peter away into nothingness. A line that ends sharply will always draw unnecessary attention, bad attention, not good attention. So you can see there, darker, thicker, thinner, almost away, darker, thinner, thicker again. A little bit darker, a little bit thinner. This comes with time, but your eye will start picking up more and more and more of these things. The more you draw anything, the better you'll get at seeing, oh, but that's a nice sharp line. Oh, and it goes thinner to the top. Otherwise, you'll just draw a dark line everywhere and you'll do outlines. Okay, I think that's enough. Not even done the 4B yet, but that's enough for helping you guys draw feet better. Looks a little bit like my feet. Okay, I hope you can see detail. It's not too blurry. But there we go. Drawing feet. 33.37 minutes. Enjoy drawing your own feet, or from this sketch to draw these feet. So that's the copy I worked from, and those are the feet. Okay, wonderful. See you in a new video whenever I do a new video, and goodbye.